Okay, free radicals, welcome back. My name is Dave. This is the Radical Independent. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Please don't unsubscribe. I need your help. I'm not asking you to send money or anything, but if you can at least stay subscribed, I would appreciate that. Russia is said to be interfering to aid Sanders in Democratic primaries. This comes from the New York Times. Now, I need to say one thing. We told you so. We, meaning all of the people who were dead set against the Russiagate hoax, which that is what it is. It's not just that because Trump says hoax. It's a hoax. There are other countries that probably interfere with our elections and they don't get any press, but Russia is getting the press the same way Trump got it. The same playbook is being used against Sanders. Now, you would think I would have sympathy for Bernie Sanders, right? At this stage? I don't. I don't. In fact, this could be the deal breaker for me because of the way Bernie Sanders is handling this and the way he's gone along with the whole neoliberal narrative that it's not the ideas or the lack of ideas or the lack of authenticity. Any party that can try to foist Michael Bloomberg on the world, okay, doesn't really deserve a whole lot of slack. And Sanders running in this party has decided that he has to embrace a portion of the neoliberal order in order to be elected. And people with a conscience are starting to decide that maybe that's not the way to go. I'm still for Tulsi Gabbard. I know, is Tulsi a long shot? Yeah, she's more than just a long shot. It's her cracking through at this stage. I mean, anything can happen. A spark can happen. And so you wait around, you see some smoldering embers, and you're hoping that they'll ignite into a fire. But if they do, this is what awaits Tulsi Gabbard. Just the same way it waited for Trump, the dossier and all that stuff. People just dismiss that because the Republicans talked about it. So then if the Republicans talked about it, then yeah, it can't be legitimate, right? Tell you what, the truth is the truth, regardless of what party is talking about it. If the Republicans talked about a fake dossier, which started this whole process, then so be it. It is the way it is. Now, they go on to say the nominal, love that, the nominal Democratic frontrunner. Now, I do give Bernie a little sympathy, and the sympathy is he's going through the BS, the same BS that he tried to embrace, thinking it was going to insulate him from the BS. But here it comes, and we told you so, we told you so, we told you so. Unbelievable. The car wreck in slow motion. He denounced Russia's efforts to attack American democracy. But he didn't denounce the CIA's efforts to attack American democracy. He didn't denounce the media's efforts to attack American democracy. And we're talking about the American media and, of course, the American CIA and the American counterintelligence all across the board. No denunciation of that. The deep state, no denunciation. These are the people in high places who are now, there's a clever term for these people, spooks. Because they're spooky. They're behind the scenes, and they're calling the shots. And a lot of people just think it's one big fun conspiracy, that we're all crazy. Folks, I'm getting really close. It's either Tulsi or Green Party. And again, Howie Hawkins is the guy running in the Green Party. He's got a statement. He's got a fairly clear statement on Russiagate that I posted on Twitter. And you can look it up. I think it's a little bit of a mea culpa on his part. But anyway, let's just delve into this a little bit. Russia has been trying to intervene in the Democratic primaries to aid Bernie Sanders, according to People according to people familiar with the matter. This is the paper of record, and their source are people familiar with the matter. This is like an elementary school kid who comes up to another kid and makes accusations and says, there are other kids that say, this is not a credible statement. This is vagary, if that's a word. And Mr. Sanders said on Friday that intelligence officials recently briefed him. Okay, so intelligence officials who get marching orders from within the entire apparatus, which of course is directly linked to the Democratic National Committee, and maybe to some degree the Republican Party as well, at least the neoconservative wing of the Republican Party. These people just come forward on the eve of the Nevada. Now look, Sanders did call out, I will give him credit, says, hey, on the eve of the primary, really? But he's known this for a month. He could have come forward a month ago, and people are calling him out on that. So this is very sloppy, and it just shows that Sanders, because he's got 1 foot in with the establishment and 1 foot in with the people, he's trying to do this great balancing act because he doesn't want to lose support from those neoliberals. He wants to, as those other candidates collapse and the shells get moved around, his game is to kind of scoop up support from wherever it can, wherever it comes from. The disclosure came a day before the Nevada caucuses, where Mr. Sanders is a favorite, and followed revelations a day earlier that Moscow was interfering on President Trump's behalf this year, as it did in 2016. All right, so look, here's the thing. You want to play this game? So Moscow has 2 dogs in the hunt, if you were going to take this literally. Trump against Sanders. The establishment hates that. So they're going to say both of them are really bad. Which, some people have speculated, well, if Bloomberg can't secure this nomination, he'll intentionally run in a third party, because I'm sure he can buy his way onto every state ballot, and say, hey, look, both of these guys are supported by Russia. I'm not. I'm supported by me, Bloomberg. And people will say, well, just because he's a billionaire and he's supporting himself, that's better than, the Kremlin supporting the other guys. Seriously. Folks, I'm losing my patience with Bernie Sanders to the point where I don't think I can pull a lever for Bernie. Well, you don't pull levers anymore. You fill in ovals. Mr. Sanders denounced Russia in a statement, calling Putin a thug, an autocratic thug. So much for the peace process, so much for getting along with countries, so much for sort of toning down the rhetoric. Is Putin a bad guy? Am I supposed to sit here, say it, Dave, say Putin's a bad guy? I don't know if he's a bad guy. I don't. It depends on what you mean by bad guy. Compared to who? Compared to what? I mean, the fact that our entire political system right now centers around Russia all the time, that to me is weird. That to me sounds like we're making all kinds of excuses for our own failings within the political system here in the United States. That we're going to blame everything on outside interference. Of course, he's drawing a contrast with Mr. Trump, and see, the establishment likes that because Trump just says, no, it's a hoax. Trump says it's a hoax. Sanders separately told reporters in Bakersfield, where he held a rally on Friday, and I want to say, Mr. Putin, if elected, trust me, you are not going to be interfering in American elections, really? So in other words, this is his way of saying, well, Trump is just allowing this to happen. I don't think so. I think the entire deep state intelligence community, they're the ones that do all the surveillance. Excuse me. They're the ones who can do preventive maintenance on this problem and Instead, they come forward on the eve of the primary, the very eve, and they say, hey, Bernie. Well, supposedly, again, he knew this a while ago. But two newspapers, this one and the Washington Post, decided to come out with it the night before. Why do you think they did that? Sanders does call them out on that. I'll let you guess about one day before the Nevada caucus. Why do you think it came out? It came out because nobody wants Bernie to win. At least the neoliberals don't. And there are going to be some other people that join in. See, this is the difficulty with Sanders right now, is Sanders is a weak man. He's not a leader. All right, he's getting rolled by the media. He's getting rolled by the neoliberal establishment. So I can sit here and watch him, and I wonder, what's he going to be like when he gets into the Oval Office? And a whole bunch of Republicans come up to his office and say, please, Bernie, please don't implement socialism, please. Because they don't know what socialism is, and Bernie's going to try to explain it. And I don't see a solution to this, folks. I see two things at work here. Number one, the neoliberal establishment is trying to sabotage a guy who isn't playing this at all like Tulsi Gabbard. He's trying to acquiesce. He's trying to play their game. And I'm sure if Tulsi and him had a conference behind closed doors, he'd say, look, I don't want to do this, but I've got to do it. If I'm going to win, I've got to do this stuff. And to me, that's unacceptable. It's unacceptable, and hence the reason I'm thinking of either not voting in the presidential election or probably voting Green Party, because I want to make a statement. So that's my video. I'll see you soon.